Today I'm gonna talk about the worst experiences that I've ever had in India, and I have been living in India for over a year and a half. Me and my family have moved here and we've traveled across 10 different states, and stories happen, guys, and I will tell you all about it today. Today I'm focusing on the negatives, but I do have a video where I posted about the best experiences, so if you're bored of watching that one, you can watch the other one. If you're new here, my name is Agnes, accountant by profession, YouTuber by passion. I currently live in India with my family and we've traveled across this beautiful country, but there are some things that I need to tell you about. And I'm spilling all the teas today, guys. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Whenever I talk about things that are not quite positive, people get very offensive and jump straight onto the comment section to say, how dare I say things like that? Now guys, the only reason I'm mentioning it because there are people who are truly interested to hear my experiences and opinions about this country, and I'm going to give it to you guys, whether you like it or not. If you do like it, don't forget to give me a like, and you can even subscribe if you want to hear more. So it happened to be that those 5 experiences that I'm going to talk about are related to food, safety, cleanliness, people, and the weather. So let's jump into experience number 1, related to the heat. Now, India gets really, really hot, and me as a European person from the climate of Poland originally, because I was born in Poland, and when I was 19 years old, I left to live in the UK, which is quite cold and humid as well. Until the time, I've not had experience with the heat such as India offers, and as much as India has mostly very, very warm weather, it also has very extremely hot weather. And I happened to be in Kolkata at the time of a peak of the heat where it was, I think, 47 degrees in the shade, which is extremely hot. And that day, me and my husband were roaming around Kolkata, visiting different sites, and I've developed really bad headache. Eventually, this headache turned to be so unbearable that I nearly passed out. I mean, we were in a hotel at that time, and as we returned, I've asked a staff to give me paracetamol. Sadly, I could not find a pharmacy across the streets that we were walking. There was some places which offer like a herbal medicines, but none of them had paracetamol, and all I needed is like a strong 2 doses of paracetamol, and I knew I would be better. But because I wasn't getting it, I was getting dehydrated, I was getting really bad headache, and that headache escalated to the point where I just didn't know what's going on. My head was hurting like a hell. I started to scream, and thank God my husband knew what he's doing, because I believe in that moment he saved my life. He's literally carried me to the bathroom and he started pouring cold water over my head, and I kept on screaming. I kept on feeling a lot of pain, and by that time, by the way, the staff member had delivered paracetamol to me, so I would have taken paracetamol probably 20 minutes before that. I was feeling nauseous. I was feeling like I'm going to pass out, although I've never once fainted in my life. It was just absolutely bizarre experience, and I believe I was experiencing symptoms of heat stroke. And thank God, as I've mentioned, my husband knew what he was doing, because he has saved my life that day. Never once in my life had I experienced such headache, and it was down to the heat. So I can't really blame the country for it and say that this is down to the safety or anything. I'm just saying that as a foreigner, it is really quite challenging to survive the weather. If you guys ever travel to India and you're listening from outside, be prepared, which means cover your head and cover yourself as much as you can. Wear sunscreen. It is very important to wear a sunblock. Ideally have sunglasses as well. Don't expose yourself to too much heat. Carry paracetamol with you if you have, and plenty of water. Do top up your liquids often enough not to be dehydrated, because I think this is what's happened. I was dehydrated plus the headache plus just generally not feeling well that day, and there you go, that's the recipe for a heat stroke, I guess. Experience number 2, and it is related to safety, this one. So we were once in Gangtok and we were roaming around with our children, discovering the little streets of Gangtok. It is a beautiful place, and once we were walking down some alley, and as we walking, my children are literally 5 steps ahead of me, and as we walking, we can hear some noise from above us. So as we look up, we can see this massive branch falling right in front of us, and it was literally between my children, I don't remember which one won. I think Arjun was in front of me and Angie was ahead. So I think Arjun was in front of me, I was behind, and a branch literally fell in between. Now guys, had I been, or my children been 1 second behind or 1 second ahead, one of us would have got hit, and that branch was heavy. And again, this is not something that could have been prevented by authorities. It's not something that happened because there is lack of safety in India. It was just pure luck that we did not get hit by the branch, and a fall from high of such heavy branch could have done serious damage to the health. I am talking about probably head injury, possibly even death. So I don't want to dramatize it because thank God nothing's happened, but this was very, very scary. After it happened, I literally had shaky legs because I felt, what if a second before my children would have been, a little bit earlier, had we stopped for a second and the branch would have just fallen on us. And it was so unexpected. Like, you don't genuinely walk thinking something's going to fall off the sky on you. So it was just really, really scary. And I know that my guardian angel was protecting me that day, and thank God nothing's happened. So the next experience is related to food, and as a foreigner, as you can imagine, my stomach is built slightly differently to the stomach of local people and people that are used to eating street food. And it happened on, I believe, 2 or 3 occasions where we went out traveling and I've tried some local cuisine. And the next day, or I think even in the same evening, I just felt sick. I was vomiting, I had diarrhea, I was just not in a good place. And I spent another day in the room literally vomiting and just feeling absolutely awful. And my family had to roam around the streets by themselves because I was not able to join them due to my sickness. But I think this is mainly because I am not used to eating street food, and I'm not used to eating local cuisines and maybe spicy food, and I'm a very open person to try new things, so I'm always keen to try new momos or some spicy sauce or some local cuisine. So with that being said, I've happened to had a food poisoning a few times, but I don't think it would happen to everyone. I do genuinely eat quite healthy, so I'm not used to unhealthy food. So when I try it, it does tend to give me sickness. And my husband didn't have any sickness that day, and my kids tend to eat different food to what we do because we eat quite a spicy food and my kids wouldn't handle it. So we tend to order them something else, something on the milder side, so they don't suffer with chili burns. And me and my husband did end up having some spicy food. And the next day, it wasn't pretty, guys. It was not pretty, I'm telling you. And my husband has a bit of a tougher stomach, so he survived without a scratch. And I had quite a bad case of food poisoning. But I don't know, I feel like maybe it could have been a water. We did have bottled water, and the water was always we made sure that the seal around it is fine. But you just never know. You just never know what could have caused it. It could have been I just happened to have a bad stomach ache or stomach bug. God knows why. I survived, that's what matters, and my stomach is stronger for it because not since I've once suffered stomach aches or food poisoning. So maybe, as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And the last but not least is going to be worst experience number 5, and this relates actually to my stupidity for trusting in people here when it comes to working with people. I have signed up to organizing a beauty pageant with someone, and right on the first meeting when that person has invited me to work with them, I wanted to discuss financials, and I did say let's sit down and discuss the money situation because obviously nobody's working for free. And they pushed the subject away, saying that, oh, it's a first event that we're organizing, we're not sure how much we're going to make out of it, but you're definitely going to get compensated for it, obviously. So on the matter of trust and on the matter of this person being a business person, I have just blindly believed and carried on working. Over the 3 months period that we've been working together, I've been creating content, promoting the page, I've been creating lots of reels and filming them for the person as well. I've been attending meetings with the sponsors and attending the meetings in the room to organize things and everything in the office. And what happened is that after 3 months, I've realized that things were not going smoothly, and I started to express my disappointment with things, the way things are running. And I saw that this whole event is not going to be as spectacular as the person had believed it to be because of the way the things were going, and mainly because of the management, basically. After a while, I went on holiday, and for about a month time, I was completely disengaged with the whole arrangements. And eventually, the pageant initially was supposed to happen 3 months into the time that I've signed up. So it would have been like 3 months of me working on it. Then eventually, because of the elections, because of the other reasons, things had been pushed off to next 3 months. So I think in general it was about 6 months time since the first day I joined in till the time that the event actually happened. I did attend the event because the person called me and said, oh, come and let's do the event. I did get involved in organizing the end of it, and at the end of it I got paid nothing. They have pinned it on the collaboration. They said that they are promoting me. They said that I am the one that's taking benefits of working for them, and they've always thought I was a partner. Not once I was signed up on any registry. I was not a partner legally, and yes, it was down to me being stupid to trust that person and never to sign anything. I did wanted to discuss this right at the beginning. I've given the person the benefit of a doubt, and I trusted that adults don't do things like that. People don't do things like that in Europe. And in general, people do sign agreements at the beginning of any work arrangements. But this time I've spent hundreds of hours actually in the office, in the meetings, creating content. I've given my skills, I've created creatives. I think I've created in total 18 reels actually for the page, and I got paid absolutely zero for it, which was very disappointing. It was a big eye-opener for me because they've used my face to say that this event was international because they're having international trainer. They called me a trainer. I was actually doing some training as well. And at the end of it, they just told me, oh, we thought that money came in between. And they did say that, oh, it's not that we don't want to pay you, actually, that we made losses, so we can't pay you. And I'm like, but that's not my problem, is it, that you've incurred losses? Like, I've worked for you, and any other person that have created for you other content or worked for you doing lights and makeup people, whoever has been involved in the whole event had to get paid. Like, they wouldn't do it for free. And stupid me done everything without taking a payment up front, and sadly I got cheated. Really, I feel exploited. I feel like I've spent so much time, energy and efforts creating reels, creating content, attending meetings, representing the brand and the event, and I got nothing out of it. Not even a good experience, not even the exposure, because I didn't get promoted in any way. I didn't appear on any news magazines because I was not called into it. Anyway, as they say, you live and learn. And I have found that people here are very, very quick to want to work with you. And they are all happy, oh yes, come work for us, create content, do this, do that. But they're not ready to pay. Or if they are ready to pay, it's so little that it's not even point me attending anything. It's like everyone wants you to be there, but nobody wants to compensate you for it. And I guess some of the events are like a social events where you go, you may mingle with good people and meet good connections and have some food with it. That's fine. You can attend such events, which are like more of a social events. But events where you have to work your butt off to create awareness of the brand, to promote it and to be a face of the brand, you can't not get paid for it. This is just wrong, guys. And funny enough, this person was always telling me, oh, be careful, people will be there to get you. People will be there to just use your face because you're foreigner. You will likely get exploited. And she has exploited me, guys. That's how I feel. And yeah, she's not here to defend her. I'm not going to point a finger of the particular person. Those who know me, and she obviously knows, they would understand the situation. Stupid of me not to sign an agreement. So if you ever come to India and people want to work with you, put things straight first in place. I want to get this much paid. Until you got this written, don't go ahead with anything, guys. Another thing, leading on to working with people, and this time I will flip the page onto the experiences that I've had with working with professionals in terms of my social media career. So working with people here is also another experience that I want to talk about, because it's something that I found that people turn to overpromise and underdeliver. They'll always tell you that they know what they're doing, that they know what to do, that they have time to work for you, and then at the end of the day, you know, first 2-3 weeks might be going great, they are very enthusiastic, they're delivering on their promises, but very, very soon you will realize that neither they can do what they promised they can do, nor they're doing it well, or they haven't got time for you, or there are just other constraints that whatever they said they will do, they don't do. But they're very, very keen to ask for payment. So yeah, that's another thing that I found really disappointing. A lot of people here in India has a can-do attitude, which is great. They all say, yes, I can do it. I'm the best person for the job. And then it turns out to be that the reality couldn't have been further from what they have promised. And I'm telling this openly because I want all the social media workers there, all the people that work with creators to know that it is not all right to think short term, okay? If you just got a client because you promised them a lot of things, but then you end up not delivering, you will lose this client very soon. This person will be dissatisfied, this person will not recommend you, and they are likely not going to even pay you at the end of it. So yeah, me ranting about those things. But I do have good experiences on the other hand, and I have worked with people that also know what they're doing, which is when they are helpful and they can really deliver. It did happen in India as well, but it is very, very hard to find those people. That's all I'm saying. Like, there are a lot of people there are a lot of people available for work, there are a lot of people that say they can do what you need them to do, but truth will come out only once you actually start working with them. There are people like that, but it's hard to find them. That's what I'm saying. It's like finding a good husband. Like, it's hard to find a good partner in life. This is the same case with finding a person, good IT skilled person here in India. But as I've mentioned, I have really good experiences of life in India, and I have created a video where I talked about my 5 best experiences in India, which I would strongly advise you to watch now.